Welcome. I am Terry Tropin, and today I'll be describing my book, ICD-10-PCS Coding Guidelines Made Easy. It's designed for students as a study guide, but also for coders working in the field, and it's available on Amazon. Let me start with information about myself. I have a master's in healthcare administration informatics from the University of Maryland Global Campus and have an RHIA and CCSP certification. I'm also an AHIMA-approved ICD-10 trainer. I have taught health information technology at Montgomery College for over 20 years. I developed this book and my other ones for my students. The official coding guidelines can be confusing, use language that may take a couple of readings to just understand. Guidelines on a single subject may be found in different parts of the guidelines. With the help of my wonderful reviewers, all certified coders, I came up with this book. I took the guidelines, translated them into everyday English, and placed the information into charts for easy reading. This is what's included in the book. You see that it covers general guidelines and guidelines related to each body system. Also included are descriptions of other medical and surgical related sections, initial character 1 through 8 and B through X. The book starts with a summary of the changes for the year and is updated every year. Near the end of the book are quizzes concerning each character in the medical and surgical section. These are often confusing. Why is this book needed? Well, here's an example. On the right is the guideline for body part values, but it's part of the guidelines for root operations, not body parts. On the left-hand side is a chart from my book. The book puts all the guidelines related to body parts together and provides examples. If you look at the last row of this chart, this is the guideline that you see listed on the right, and you see it describes the guideline and gives examples of how to apply the guideline. Lots of examples. I really believe in lots of examples. Each year, the book starts out with a summary of the changes from the previous year. This is updated every year, and also because not going to include everything, there's a link to where you can find the full guidelines. So in this presentation, I'm going to give you examples of tables, charts from the book in each of these areas. The general PCS guidelines, decision trees, guidelines for specific body systems, definitions, quizzes, and there's also an index. So here's an example of the general guidelines for this one's particular for root operations. These are the guidelines for revisions of a previous procedure. The guideline shows when the root operation revision is used and when it is not. You can see that here. In this instance, it is not. In this instance, it is. So here's an example of comparison between the guidelines for extracorporeal or systemic assistance and performance and extracorporeal and systemic therapies. You can see it spells out all the criteria for each one of these. And this one is assist to perform. This is to provide treatment. So it gives you a comparison and also talks about the similarities, like here. The book also includes decision trees. These help the reader select the correct root operation in this case. Note in this example, the decision tree may direct you to a root operation in the surgical section, control or repair, or in another section, compression and dressing. Also included are decision trees for approaches. This decision tree concerns approaches through natural or artificial openings. Is an endoscope used? If not, you go here. If yes, then you have another decision to make, yes or no. So it takes you through the steps in deciding which approach to use. after the general information and the decision trees, it gives you, the book includes a discussion of each body system with specific guidelines for each. Here's an example of coding body parts in the respiratory system. Most important procedure and continuous section of airway, and it gives you guidelines for that. Bilateral procedure, separate body parts. This will give you an example of approaches, and this is also included in each of the body system areas. Now, as you know, the approach values that they give you are not the ones used normally. For example, a laparoscopy is a percutaneous endoscopic. A transvaginal is a natural or artificial opening. So within each body system, it gives examples of the common word used and which approach value you should refer to. Each body system also includes a description of the non-surgical procedures that are included in that system. Examples, for example, nutrition through a PEG tube, part of the gastrointestinal system, how is that coded? Administration, etc. So it gives you examples of the non-surgical procedures that are identified or that associate with specific body system. Near the back of the book are definitions of the terms used in PCS. Here are just some examples. Endoscopic, endoscopic percutaneous, endothelial damage inhibitor. That's in the new technology system. These are brief definitions to kind of give you an idea if you're on the right track. Finally, in the back of the book are quizzes. These are designed to help the reader differentiate between the possible characters used in PCS. It uses examples and asks the reader to select the correct character that would apply to that example. Answers, of course, are in the back of the book. So there are quizzes to differentiate the body systems, the root operations, the body parts, the approaches, the devices, and the qualifiers. That completes the book review. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to contact me. And here are other books I've written on coding. These are also available on Amazon. The easiest way to find them is to go to the link at the beginning of the this presentation, or just go on Amazon and type in Amazon Books and type in my last name, Tropin, T-R-O-P-I-N. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.